not want to sit? You don't have to. Okay, you don't have to sit. It's okay. You don't have to sit. I know you're excited to make things as me. Can anybody guess what we're gonna make today?
Cookies.
How do you know we're gonna make cookies?
Because I see them.
Okay. So I have a quick fun activity, video for you. And as you can see on our timeline, I called it fun because it is fun, and you'll see why. Also, what we're gonna do today, before I start the video, we're gonna review our mixing methods because I know that some of us might be a little unclear about some things in our mixing methods, which is also fun. And then we're going to review our round robin that we did last class of what you said that you wanted to know. So I took your answers and you'll see what I did. And that's an opportunity for us to have some more fun. And then we're also going to have an activity. I'll review this activity. And what do you guys think this activity might be?
More fun.
It's going to be fun, but yes, we are making cookies. Okay. Yeah, and it's going to have more fun, but we are going to talk too. So we're going to have a lot of talking. Controlled talking. And then at the end, after we've cleaned and after we've tasted, we're going to have an exit slip. So a couple of questions to see, so that I can see what you guys learned, and so also you can ask me a question that you might be nervous to ask me in class. Which is not so fun because you'll be leaving at that point in time. So, but we'll reconvene soon. Okay, so if we could kill the lights. Okay. Can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I found a song called The Cookie Dance. Oh, it's not playing. Oh, yeah, it's too loud. Wait. I want you to hear it.
Wait, can you sign it?
It sounded like a good beat.
It did. And this DJ.
I know.
I gotta do a dance every time I eat a cookie. I stack the power high, about the size of Smokey. I tried to contain myself, but I'm a dope fresh son. Have you ever tried to go and eat just one? It's really impossible. One pack of things aimless, but I love every kind. I'm no cookie racist. I grab me some milk and my feet start moving. I gotta do a dance until I'm back and moving. I hit me the cookie, a little bit of shuffle. I really want a cookie, better grab me a couple. Gina playing pranks, but I'm not touch a cookie store cause you'll be cleaning there while I turn into the whole prank versus prank. You know it's for the win. Eat another cookie and start to dance again. I love my cookies and the cookies love me. In case you didn't know, this is PvP.
He's gonna play the song again. So you can dance it.
Mike, show me how it's done. Please come. You can do it all day. Please do it.
Do it.
Yeah, do it.
We should play this song.
That's for classroom
Is it
behavior.
again? There we go. I think you can do it like this.
Wait, do it. No, I don't want to get the teacher in trouble.
I gotta do a dance every time I eat a cookie. I stack the power high, about the size of Smokey. I tried to contain myself, but I'm dope fresh son. Have you ever tried to go and eat just one? It's really impossible. One pack of things aimless, but I love every kind. I'm no cookie racist. I grab me some milk and my feet start moving. I gotta do a dance until my body grooving. I hit me the dougie, a little bit of shuffle. I really want a cookie, better grab me a couple. Gina playing pranks, better not touch a cookie store cause you'll be cleaning it while I turn into the whole prank versus prank. You know it's for the win. Eat another cookie and start to dance again. I love my cookies and the cookies love me. In case you didn't know, this is PvP.
All right.
Alright.
You made that?
Whoa. I made that into a photo peach. I did not make the song.
That's impressive.
No! I knew that was you the whole time.
No. Okay. Alright, so did everybody see all the different kinds of cookies that we can make?
Yeah.
What are some of the ones that stand out to you guys? Mike?
I like the Mickey Mouse Oreo cookies.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any specific relation
so colorful. Amazing.
All right.
I like the bacon ones because they have like movement.
Yeah, I like those as well. Anyone else want to share? No? Okay, well, feel free at our exit slip. If you want to share then, that's fine too. Okay, so what I really wanted to show you in that video is that there's a myriad of opportunity to make, which means a lot, of opportunity to make different kinds of cookies and make them what you really want them to be. As you saw, there was a BMW logo as well. I recently made cookies that were logos of colleges and high schools at work, and it was really fun to make those too. Okay, so now as planned, we're going to go over our mixing methods. So first, the first mixing method I want to go over with you guys is creaming. And what do we already know about creaming? What did you guys say? What kind of utensil do we use?
Mixer.
A paddle. And why would we use a paddle to mix our butter and sugar together? True, to make sure it's light and fluffy. What else? We're going to want to cream our butter and sugar together, which is also mixing it together, to add air into our cookie. Our cookies aren't going to be completely like paper thin flat, right? So we're going to want to add a little bit of air, and just so they're not rock solid as well. Next, we're going to add our eggs and our other liquids if we have them, and we're going to scrape the bowl. Why would we scrape the bowl? Mike?
Even distribution of ingredients.
Perfect. Absolutely. Also, at the bottom of the bowl, if you notice when you're paddling, some of it gets stuck after you add the liquids. So like Mike said, you want to scrape the bowl to get that extra butter and sugar that's stuck at the bottom that the paddle didn't get, so that we have even distribution. Guys, if the three of you in the back want to pay attention, this is very important. All right? Actually, what's really important is I hand out your notes page. So, Mike, will you go ahead and hand these out for me? Sure. Thank you. Next, we're going to add our dry ingredients, and we're going to mix until they're incorporated. Now, we're not going to overmix. Does anybody know why we're not going to overmix?
That's how it becomes tough.
It becomes tough. Do you know why? That's okay. Does anybody else know why? Mike?
We don't want to overdevelop the gluten.
Perfect. And what is gluten? That's what I said.
Gluten is the protein that allows us some elasticity in the dough and the right structure.
Perfect. And if we overdo it, it might taste like what kind of product? Bread. There we go. Not completely, but. Okay, and then we're also going to scrape the bowl here for even distribution of our ingredients. And lastly, we're going to scoop, decorate, and bake. Or scoop, bake, and decorate, depending on what kind of cookie you're making. Oh. Okay, but today we're going to scoop, decorate, and then bake. Okay, so our next mixing method is whipping. So first in our whipping, we're going to whip our eggs and sugar to a medium heat. Now a lot of times we whip our eggs and then we gradually add our sugar. Does anybody know why? Okay, it's so that the sugar crystals can cut into the egg, I think the egg protein, and it allows it to add a little bit more air, and it allows it to get more volume. And this includes the whip attachment. What other utensil do we use in the kitchen that looks just like the whip attachment? A whisk, exactly. So keep that in mind when you're looking for your utensils today and your attachments for your mixers. Next, we're going to melt the butter in a pan with other liquids, and we're going to set it aside to cool. Okay, and this is not the whole this is not the whole thing. I don't know why I did that. Oh, maybe it did. Okay. Oh no, sorry. It's right. Sorry, it's right. Next we're gonna have our folding. And a lot of times whipping and folding go together. So that's why I had not the whole recipe on the whipping. So next we're going to sprinkle our dry ingredients over our whipped eggs. And then we're going to pour the melted butter, but make sure it's not hot. Why do we want to make sure it's not hot? We don't want it to deflate. I also heard we don't want it to curdle. What do you mean by curdle? Right, we don't want to scramble our eggs because that would not taste good in our cookie. And then we're going to gently fold the ingredients together. Now when we fold, we use a spatula and we're going to gently just go to the bottom of the bowl, lift it up, and then pour it over. So it's nice and gentle. And why do we keep things nice and gentle with folding? We don't want to deflate our whipped eggs. Correct. And then we're going to scoop, decorate, and bake. Margaret?
What kind of cookies use that method?
Actually, usually cookies don't use this method. But today we are going to use that method for cookies because we're going to see what happens when we do use that method. But this is also, it's also a way to practice this method and even just using the ingredients and, you know, getting practice with folding too. Okay? All right. All right. Next we have the blending method, and this is the last method that we're going to go over today. First we're going to combine our dry ingredients, and we can simply do this by putting them into a bowl and whisking them together. And next, sometimes you can sift them, but for this instance we don't need to sift them. Next we're going to combine our wet ingredients, which we can also put into a bowl and whisk those together as well. Using a paddle, we're also going to mix the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients. Now, what would you say about butter? Is that going to be a dry ingredient or a wet ingredient? Wet. Wet. Okay. And how do you think you might use the butter? Would you use it as is, or would you use it melted for this method? Okay, good. We have good answers all around. You can use it as is. As is would be at room temperature. Sorry, I didn't clarify that. You can use it melted as well. All right. So, next we're going to review our round robin. So here's what you guys said about what do I want to know about the mixing method. So first, on the top right, you'll see, or your top left, you'll see that we have creaming. And what you asked about creaming is, why do I need to cream my sugar when I make cookies? Can I cream with all sugars? Does anybody know the answer to the first question? Mike?
No, only crystal sugar, like hard sugar.
What do you mean?
Can you cream with all sugars? But like liquid sugars, like corn syrup, you can't. Can you cream?
You can add them, certainly, but at that point you would want to have some sort of grain sugar there, so it comes together. Because what happens if you cream corn syrup and butter, it's not exactly going to stick together correctly. Right, right, and then we won't have the air. Perfect. All right, and the second question: can I cream with all sugars? Does anybody know the answer to that? Yes, you can cream with all sugars, but like we said, you want to have a sort of grain sugar in there so that you have the crystals. Second, on the bottom we have whipping, and what you said you wanted to know, how much more product can you get due to the volume of the ingredient before and after being whipped? Does anybody have a ballpark idea? No? Okay, it depends on the ingredients. Whipped cream, I believe you can get, I think it's 3 times as much. Maybe that's meringue. I think whipped cream is twice as much, meringue is 3 times as much volume, depending on what you need it and the stiffness you need it. Did Persians whip? Did anybody do their research for that?
They did.
Gio?
Well, Persian is a normal type Pokemon. It cannot learn Vine Whip, which is a grass
brain thing had
Thank you, Jason, for that appropriate response. Lucio. Okay, blending method. Someone asked, can I use a dough cutter? Does anybody know the answer to that? A dough cutter?
Yes.
Jamie?
I would say yes.
And why would you say yes?
Get the same results by doing it by hand.
True, very true. Did everybody hear Jamie?
No.
She said we can get the same results when we do it by hand than as we can with the mixer. That's what he said. Okay.
Is it dough cutter?
Yes, a dough cutter has a handle and then it has, I don't have one,
Like a blade.
but it's sort of a blade. It has like 3 prongs at the end, right? Yeah. Okay. I don't have one. So, lastly we have folding. Why do we need to fold? Can't I use the mixer? Does anybody know the answer to that? We just reviewed it. Kelly?
So you don't break the air bubbles of whatever you whipped.
Perfect. So we don't break the air bubbles or deflate whatever we whipped. And then lastly, who discovered it? Did Egyptians fold? Mongolians? Jason?
It's originally credited with Anton Carême in his early works, but then it was later popularized by Henry Baker with the creation of the American chiffon cake.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
we already did this research. Jason, can I ask? Did you ask this question?
Yes.
You did? Okay. All right. Well, now everybody knows the answer. Did everybody hear Jason correctly? Okay.